Good afternoon. How are you? I know I sound so happy because the sun is out. Yeah, the sun is out. It's a bizarre weather pattern we're in because we have had rain, 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 and then today it is supposed to be in the high 70s, and by tomorrow and the next day we're back into a big storm. Oh, you gotta love spring. You never know what Mother Nature is going to serve up on her platter. Anyway, I started the morning out in the backyard. I did not sleep. Oh, welcome to my floss tube, Stitch Roadies, about cross stitch, I think. Well, anyway, if you're new here, thank you for giving us a chance, or rather me, because there's only me. And if you're a frequent flyer, well, you know. So I didn't sleep well last night because there was a fox in our backyard area that was screaming his little head off, or her little head off. And I kept trying to, I'd get out of bed and go from window to window trying to see if I could spot it. But, oh, if you've ever heard a vocalization by a fox, it's quite distinctive. We're kind of used to coyotes and such around here, but not too frequently do we have a fox, which is quite interesting. So I did go out this morning and looked to see if there were any signs of said fox, but no. And it got me all motivated because yesterday G and I went to Tony's garden center, which is this huge garden center that has every manner of plant and tree and all kinds of stuff. And I bought a new rose bush to put in. I have a mound in my backyard that's all these rose bushes because Portland is the city of roses. And I bought some like cilantro, some starts. It might be a little bit, oh man, there is a hawk flying above here. Oh, it's gorgeous. Oh, he is searching. I know last week we were bird watching in our backyard and suddenly all the birds were gone and I said, I wonder if there's a hawk. And I stood up and then it flew across the yard. Yeah. So where was I? I don't know where I was. But we'll just keep talking, huh? So I got up this morning. Oh yeah, I was planting some plants that we got at the garden center. So I planted some cilantro. I planted some rhubarb. It's ever the hopeful gardener. I don't know if it's quite a little bit early for it, but gosh, it's almost April. So I cleared out my beds and I trimmed some trees, deadheaded some ferns that were growing back, but taking the dead fronds off, and got cilantro in. Turns out I need an extra bag of dirt for my tomatoes. But it was fun to get out there and just be in, real sunlight, unfiltered, no clouds, sweating. It was awesome, awesome. And we have a guy who's coming later this week to clean our pond, our stream and pond. And so I kind of wanted to trim back everything so that after all his work, I don't end up with a bunch of dead leaves back in that stream. But that was fun to be out there. Yeah, yeah. Well, I went last week to Acorns and Threads, and the gals that all meet for Stitch Day, if you ever are passing through the area, just go on to Acorns and Threads newsletter or the website and see their calendar, and you can see when the Stitch Days are. And come stitch with us. It's so enjoyable. It's enjoyable to see because not everyone stitches, as we all know, the same things. And it's fun to be inspired. And in this case, Janine did not put away all the market stuff she came back with for Nashville Days, which we celebrated over a week ago. She left it out in the classroom space, so we got really snuggy with tables around, but what that did was you wanted to shop again, just in case you forgot something. And I couldn't believe it. I pride myself in my memory and in my brains, and I missed some stuff, so I had to pick up some new stuff. And really one of the highlights of that day was that Audrey Stitchy Witch 42 Floss Tube stopped by. Her husband brought her, and if you have been on her floss tube and her Instagram, you know that she's been traveling a little bit of a health journey. And so her husband brought her to hang out for a while, and it was so fun to see her. And she gave me a, this is Cedar Creek Alpaca's soap. It's a bar of soap that has been felted with wool around it. Oh, smells so good. Smells so good. I think this was, if I remember, it was lemon felted soap, hand felted with alpaca fleece, lemon cucumber. Oh yeah. And you can order these from Alpaca Boutique, what is that? Boutique at cedarcreek.com, but I'll put the link in the description box down below. One of the gals who came to the Thursday Stitch group brought a whole bag of floss that she did not want anymore, and she passed it around, and we could each take something out of the bag. And so when I was looking at the floss in there, and there was a variety of floss, I saw this, and I had never saw it before. Moline 6-strand embroidery floss Madeira. So it came in this little plastic package right here, and it shows, it gives you instructions on how to pull it out of this package while you leave. So I will have to, made in Germany. So I'm anxious to give that a shot. Yeah, something new. I like to do something new. Although I do like my standard things. Like right now, when you go to the grocery store here, sugar bee apples are in. They are my favorite apple, and I can't get enough of them. So I do like to be adventuresome, but like some of my regular stuff. While I was sitting there, you know, you get enabled by everybody because all the Nashville stuff is laid out on the table. Janine is one smart woman, and although we are a vegan household, so the cookbooks, I'm not really drawn to the cookbooks, but everyone was buying one, and the 2025 Nashville Needlework Market Cookbook. So I said, well, let me look at it, you know. And truth be told, there's no problem with converting any recipe I see to vegan. To be vegan now is so simple comparatively. And so even though this cookbook doesn't have any vegan recipes, all the recipes I can convert. I just am not much of a cooker. G's the one that cooks a lot. But the little cross stitch in here, they were adorable. And so I said, okay, I'm going to have to buy the cookbook, even though last week, and the first thing I want to do is the I Say Tomato, Twin Peak Primitives. Oh man, they are all so cute. So let me just say that this cookbook is, yeah. And then I realized that last Christmas, so this is going to be somewhat of a busy year for me, stitching wise, because last Christmas, my daughter-in-law, my younger daughter-in-law, said I had done shepherd's bush Christmas stockings for their two children. And she said, well, my son and she do not have that cute stocking. And Shepherd's Bush released a new stocking. So I picked up Olaf. And Janine also had the button pack, so I picked up the button pack. I'm going to get started on this sooner than later. I did come home and say, okay, this is definitely the year of stitching gifts, because I have a stitch for each of my children, and I have a stitch for a girlfriend who, where did I put that? She bought some Prairie Schooler Santas, I don't know, charts that I didn't have, and picked one out that she would want to have stitched for her. So I have that stitching, and then now I have this. So I really have to kind of organize my stitching time and keep it so that, because you know you're not going to stitch unless you like what you're doing. At least that's how I am. So I'm going to have to definitely organize, because my gosh, already April. How in the world did that happen? This last week, a lot of times I'll get one of my grandchildren on Sunday, and there was a new store opening up in Gresham, which is a community that's, maybe 10 miles from here. And it is called Dacio. It is a Japanese store. It's a Japanese department store. And by department, I mean that, okay, everything in it is a Japanese product. They have household items, kitchen items, stationery, crafts, knitting, closet things, party snacks. I mean, it's like a department store. And so we wanted to go and see what it was all about. And we had to stand in line because they would only let so many people in the store, and it was busy. And then as people left, then other people would go in. And so we waited and looked through the window at stuff that we liked, but it was interesting. We bought a lot of snacks. Yeah, we bought a lot of snacks. And they had toys, Japanese toys, and the Japanese version of Legos, which were really tiny. But they had a whole different variety of these. And so I picked up one, they're, because I have done cross stitch where I have framed it and then just set it on this easel. And yeah, and they were reasonably priced and nice wood. So I'm going to give this a try. And so that was cool, wasn't it? Yeah, I thought it was cool. Yeah. What have I been stitching? Well, a new start for me is going to be the Santa I got it all kitted up. It's the Teresa Kogut. I got all the threads and the fabric. And I know some of you have asked what that green was because and Teresa explained it all on her floss tube, but it was stitched by Denise of Dot Dot Goose, and Denise used Bayberry, Simply Straight, the Gentle Art, Simply Shaker Bayberry. So this was the green that she used. That's why it doesn't have that same DMC look. So I'm naturally going to do that same thing. So that's going to be a new start. I have not been making big headway on my Quaker Sal, although I love it. But yeah, I got distracted. I just got distracted. What can I say? Trying to keep myself on an even keel. But I did do a little more stitching on arranging microbes. This is an ink circle for my daughter-in-law's house, and I just love the colors. They are so fun, so fun. So I made some headway on that. And oh, everybody's working in their yard. It's just amazing. I can hear lawnmowers going, and it's exciting. It's exciting. Well, I shared with you last time that, oh, there's my Quaker, right here. So, not much further than the last time I showed you, but I just am in love with it, in love with the thread, which is Mrs. Sadis Oxide. So as I shared with you last time, my new, I had to have a start from my Nashville purchases. Love every single one of them, gonna do every single one of them. But I knew right away that this was going to be my start, my first start from Nashville 2025. And that was the Tiny Modernist. And I don't think I've ever done a Tiny Modernist, but I just absolutely loved this, which is interesting to me because this color palette, lavender and blues and purples, not like my go-to color palette. And these threads are different. They're, I forget what they call them, but they're like they package these colors together for designers to design something for. And they're by Threadworks. And I love the colors. I love the colors. I love the project. And so here I am. And I decided to backstitch the eye and the eyebrow so that as I continue to stitch it, I can feel like the moon is with me. It's just sleeping. Isn't that just so sweet? So tomorrow is Whip Wednesday, and I know that I'll be bringing this with me to stitch on while I'm there because, it's just such a lovely, lovely stitch. And this is my first time using the Threadworks threads, which were a special pack for this year's Nashville market. And my designated stitch. I was reflecting on if this journey with me is newer to you. You may not know that I had this long-term project called The Trees from Renato Perelin, and it kind of languished because it was a large project, all one color, and then I came up with the designated stitch program for myself. And what that is, not to bore you, those that know, I stitch on whatever I want. No one's the boss of me, except for in the evening. So we're kind of a boring couple in that we have this certain pattern to our lives. And usually after dinner, we go upstairs in our house to our bedroom where we have a seating area and a television. And that's where I cross stitch in the evening. And we watch a variety of shows, you know, Father Brown, Lincoln Lawyer, you know, we've got this whole list of shows that we like. So I will stitch probably for a couple of hours up there. And I decided that in order to make progress on some larger or more involved stitches, whatever I choose, actually, there'll be one project that I stitch every evening until it's done. I can do whatever I want during the daytime, but in the evening, I allow myself not to struggle with decision, not make any kind of chaos, but to relax into the evening and know that I'm going to work on this project till it's done. And it has brought so much peace to my evenings, and and I've gotten some projects done, which, you know, it feels so good, because, you know, when you actually get a big project done, you see it on Instagram. We are like shouting it from the top of social media. We're so happy that we got something big done. And that's what I like. That's what I wanted for myself. And it has worked very, very well. Hence, I got the trees done. So this project that I am working on is modern folk embroidery. This was a 2024 SAL that I didn't sell, but, and you could, it's a 2-color chart, and so the colors I chose, I don't have it here. I know it's Evo and Dirty Martini are the colors. But look at this. I mean, I cannot express how much in love I am with this project, how much I am patting myself on the back. I just love this project, and to know that I'm going to get it done. But I have a question, because I had someone ask me, and I try to answer all the questions that are asked. And some of the questions that are asked, I didn't even think about, you know. So I moved my stitching up and put the Q-snap here because I'm using a Lowry stand. And I just gently put it over my stitching here at the top. But have you ever done that? Is it safe to roll this over, or should I put a piece of cloth underneath this plastic before I put it on my stitching? If anyone has successfully done this or has had nightmares about it, if you could just leave me some information in the comments. So, because I probably have another week or so before I have to really move it. And I want to know what to do. I want to know what to do. I'm in love with this project. I love the colors I chose. And it's interesting because G's sitting in his chair next to me. And he even noticed this project, that he loves this. So it's great. I always love it when something you make, like when he makes cutting boards or wooden spoons or stuff like that. He loves it when I love his stuff, and I love it when he loves my stuff. So there you go. Yeah. Mutual Admiration Society here. So tomorrow is Whip Wednesday. I am going to have some fun at Acorns and Threads. I'm looking forward to hanging out with everybody, and there goes a doggy. It looks like a mixed breed between a poodle and something else. Everybody, the guy's in shorts and a t-shirt. It's glorious here. It's absolutely glorious, and I love that. So I've been keeping up on my book of days. I have been giving myself green stars for every day that I have ridden a bicycle. This is my week to add 1 more mile to that. And that has been fun to keep track of that. But I cannot believe that we are already in the last week of March. Yeah, I cannot believe that. That is going to be something. And I feel in my soul that another 56 count is coming. So I have to think about that. But now we juggle. Now we get to the season, at least in this hemisphere, we get to the season of cross-stitching gardening, if you're a gardener, Although back east, oh my gosh, I had a nephew and his family who lived in the Raleigh area. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy that they are not living there now, because the weather patterns yeah. It's been an interesting year all the way around, hasn't it? Well, I'm glad you stopped by, and I hope you are all doing well. We are traversing our aging bodies, as many of you are, and one step in front of the other. That's what my older son says to me. One step in front of the other, Mom. Yeah. One stitch in front of the other. Okay, you guys all take care, and